It's Tuesday. It's the first day of November, first night, I should say, since we're recording this live almost at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Boiler Breakdown Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Hit the like, hit the follow, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't done that already. Do all of it. Do it all. Follow Evan Webb right here, who is my co-host on Twitter at ET_Webb. Follow myself, Tanner Lee, if you want on Twitter at TannerLee92. And we're ready to rock and roll. Not only did Boiler Football take a bye last week, we decided to take a bye as well. We weren't trying to, but that thing life kind of got in the way. So far, just a two-man show tonight. Maybe our other co-host, Andrew Eiler, will be joining us. Webby, I looked back. We haven't done a three-man podcast since the Syracuse preview last month.
Wow. Man, life. Yeah, we take a bye week and we take a bye, and all of a sudden you come back engaged. What the hell?
Yeah. And it was a good engagement weekend because Purdue didn't stress me out at all because they were on the bye. So funny how that works out. But yes. Major life updates. So two of us will be getting married here next year. The other one of us had a baby last year. So
we're all grown up.
Crazy. But I think the bye week came at the perfect time for the Boilers.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to talk about the Wisconsin game, if you want to call it a game. 16 games in a row now. Wisconsin has beat Purdue. It was kind of same old. I mean, heck, Purdue was down 14-0 by the time they came on the ESPN airwaves.
Yeah, well, they said you could watch the game on ESPN app, but if you
liars,
I didn't even try. But looking at Twitter when that was happening, it sounds like it wasn't even working. Which is, again, I don't know if it's just because I know it's happening, but I'm really excited that the Big Ten's leaving ESPN in a couple of years. I thought I'd miss it, but no. Ever since they've announced it, I'm just realizing all this stuff I hate about ESPN. So it can't come soon enough.
Yeah, it's funny how they went from them. I mean, they're still probably the mecca of sports channels and news, but not like they used to be. Not like they used to be. Purdue just dug themselves in the hole. Wisconsin goes down, scores on the opening drive. Then Nate O'Connell throws a pick six, and it's 14-0 already. And then we just couldn't. We didn't have a problem moving the ball, but we just couldn't finish drives. I mean, Mitchell Finneran missed a short field goal at one point.
When that happened, that's kind of I was like, it's just not gonna happen today.
Not our day.
If we would have hit that, I'd be like, okay, we're slowly chip away. They're not a great team, but once he missed that, I was like, it's just not gonna happen.
Not our day. Graham Mertz looked good. Allen ran all over us, which that's Wisconsin against Purdue. It's just power football, and Wisconsin just kind of putting their will towards Purdue, and it's just frustrating. I don't even know why I got my hopes up so much. Maybe because it's Wisconsin's worst team they've had in a while, and an interim coach, and we were hot, riding a 4-game win streak going in, but it's just same old.
Which is wild because, I saw some people saying Purdue can't show up in big games, which I don't believe because we've shown up in big games last year. The Iowa game was a big game. Michigan State was a big game. Obviously the bowl game, even, say what you would about bowl games, but that was, big time opponent as we're seeing now.
And we're the last team to beat Tennessee. So
yeah. But it just sucks against Wisconsin.
Yeah. Next year, the schedule has come out for next year. They're our first Big Ten opponent. We get them at home in September, which will kind of be nice. Who knows if that'll help or not, but hey.
The positive thing of that's hopefully we'll be hopefully we don't have as many injuries this time around.
Right.
But also on the flip side, it's we're going to be starting most likely a freshman and or, inexperienced quarterback to say the least. And, only a few games into the season, probably one of the first, obviously legit tests that they're going to see. So,
yeah, it'll be interesting with quarterback next year. Either Michael Limo, who's going to be a redshirt junior next year, Brady Allen, who'll be a redshirt freshman, or maybe Purdue grabs somebody in the transfer portal. I don't know. But what were your positives to take away from that game, if any?
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember a whole lot of positimes. I thought
Mockabee ran well.
You say Mockabee, yeah. Mockabee was all right. But I think it got to the point where we got so far behind that we couldn't really use them the way we wanted to because we had to throw the ball. And I don't know what it is against Wisconsin, but Aiden just can't. This is not good against Wisconsin. I'm sure he's glad to never see them ever again.
No, he struggled against them last year, struggled this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's probably about the only thing I could really think of.
Well, I'm gonna go look at the box score because I feel like Payne Durham was a positive that day. I know he did catch a one-handed touchdown.
That's true. Bad throw, but
bad throw, but good catch.
Yeah.
Let's see. It was 35-24 was the final score, which score was closer than the game really was.
Yeah.
Aiden was 31 for 46 for 320 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Devin Mockbee had 23 carries for 108 yards and a touchdown. Kobe Lewis, 5 carries for 21 yards. Keen Doru, 1 carry for 2 yards, which sounds like he's banged up and doubtful for Saturday's game. Charlie Jones, 10 catches for 105 yards. Payne Durham, 6 catches for 66 and a touchdown. Mershawn Rice, 3 for 36. Deion Burks, 3 for 30. Paul Pafari, 1 for 23. TJ Sheffield, 3 for 21. Tyron Tracy, 1 for 18. Kobe Lewis, 2 for 13. Defense, Fakasiaki actually led us in tackles with 7.
Oh, wow.
Sanusi Kane and Jack Sullivan had our 2 sacks. Yeah, so it wasn't our defense's best effort either.
No.
I mean, look at Wisconsin. Graham Mertz was 13 for 21 for 203, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Braylon Allen had 113 yards on 16 rushes. And then their backup running back had 72 yards on 7 carries. Yeah, just was not good. Was not good. But, yeah, I think Leonard will end up being their coach full-time.
Yeah, I think, the fact that, they haven't fired anybody else, like, it just seems like it's who they wanted, and, they had to make a move before someone else got in there, because, as we're starting to see with, coaches getting fired, Auburn just fired their coach, probably setting the record for most buyout money they had to pay over the last couple seasons, but you had to lock him in most likely before things got crazy.
Yeah, for everybody that thought the pandemic was going to slow down college sports, especially college football with buyouts and stuff, nope.
Not at all. Nope.
It's a competitive world out there, especially in the SEC. It's crazy. But the Boilers, like we said, had a bye week last week. Hopefully got a little healthier. There's definitely some guys that needed the rest. A lot of guys playing through injuries. We'll see who we get back. Hopefully, do we get Brock Thompson back this weekend? I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I don't know if he's practicing or anything.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But Purdue welcomes an opponent that put up some points for once, but they did play Northwestern last week, and the Iowa Hawkeyes, who are 4-4. Opponent that's been a thorn in their side, or a thorn. Purdue's been a thorn in their side, I should say, winning 4 of the last 5 matchups, including last year when they were ranked number 2 up in Iowa City. A good thing for Iowa is that there is no David Bell this year, but the Boilers do have Charlie Jones and Tyron Tracy, who both were Hawkeyes just last year. So Purdue's 4-point favorites, noon game, first noon home game of the year, Fox Sports 1. How are you feeling going into this one?
Not as good as I was like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, even just because of the injuries. And just because of the way our defensive backfield's been playing. I mean, I know Spencer Petras is not a good quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, but our defensive backs have shown sometimes to take a bad quarterback and make him look like, a Heisman front runner at times. I mean, typical Iowa team, solid defense. I mean, it's going to be tough to score on them. They're going to be physical. They're going to be big up front. You just can't let them get them, give them confidence and get them or allow them to score early on. I think if we can get ahead of them early, as I was hoping we were against Wisconsin, I think we can hopefully just kind of keep them at arm's length. But if we get behind like we did Wisconsin, I think it's going to be tough because that defense is legit, and it could give us some problems, especially if we don't have all of our weapons.
Yeah, what makes me concerned is the forecast right now for Saturday. I just checked before we got on the podcast, 70% chance of rain right now in West Lafayette on Saturday. That's not looking good. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just, just in West Lafayette. But I checked by other Indiana locations on my phone. They weren't as high as West Lafayette, but all of them showed a decent chance of rain. So I'm like, okay, it must be over the whole state on Saturday. So yippee.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we got a couple days. Hopefully,
yeah, we do. Hopefully it pushes
change.
back till Sunday or something. Or
Yeah.
comes through earlier on Friday. But I agree with you. I think we got to strike early and get up on them, make them pass the ball. I don't know. Iowa hasn't proven, besides last week, that they can score points. But
Their defense can, though.
Their defense can. Their special teams, I believe, is not too bad either. So, I mean, they're still a well-coached team. I mean, Ferentz is a good coach. His son might not be able to call plays very well, but
Or know what a 21st century offense is.
But I do like that. Yeah, that's true. I do like that. This is a program that Jeff Brahms had success against, and now you get a bye week, an extra week to prep for them. So I do like that. Looking at the series history, Purdue leads the series with 50 wins to 39 losses, 3 ties. Current win streaks 2 wins. Longest win streak for Purdue in the series was 20 games from October 28th, 1961 to November 8th, 1980.
Wow.
Longest losing streak is 9 games. That was from October 15th, 1983 through October 26th, 1991. Home record against the Hawkeyes, 29 wins, 17 losses, 1 tie. Away record, which doesn't matter since the game's not at Kinnick this weekend, but it's 21 wins, 22 losses, 2 ties. Conference record for Iowa. It says conference record 4-4. I don't understand what that means. First matchup was 0-16 Iowa win on October 22nd, 1910. Last 10 matchups 5-5. Largest margin of victory was a Purdue win 58-13 on November 8th, 1980. Smallest margin of victory is a 1-point win on November 15th, 1975. Total points 1,800. Average points 19.57. So, interesting little history there.
Yeah, kind of something that it's almost like a manufactured rivalry by the Big Ten for some reason. Like they like the, I don't know if it's the color scheme, but it always seems like it's kind of like a running joke of they're our most hated rival for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have a problem with that. Obviously, there's been some things recently from the football program that haven't been very good. That is probably warrants a firing, but who am I to say that? Yeah, I mean, it's always usually a pretty good game. I always seem to like playing Iowa. I think they're always usually pretty good games for the most part. Even in basketball, they're pretty fun. They're easy to hate in basketball.
That's very true. Ferentz is the longest tenured coach. I believe he got hired either 98 or 99. So he's been there a little bit. And it seems like every time his seat gets a little warm, they rack off a 9, 10, 11-win season.
There's always there's like a good stretch there where he would 3 years of average to being pretty bad. And all of a sudden, they'd have an 8-9 when he get a nice little new contract, and then back to 5 wins.
I even remember it was probably decades, so maybe even a little longer. The NFL was kind of sniffing around on him, and then they
really
gave him a pretty nice extension to keep him away from the NFL.
I mean, they've put some decent pros, decent players in the pros. I mean, obviously they were kind of tied into you there for a while. They've they had what's the defensive end they had a couple years ago.
AJ Epineza,
yes.
Then TJ Hawkinson, who got traded today within a division, which. Yeah, okay, Lions, give the Vikings who win the division another weapon. That's smart. But they've had Robert Gallery didn't really pan out, but he was the number 2 overall pick, offensive tackle for the Raiders back in the early 2000s.
Bob Sanders for the Colts back in the
Bob
early
Sanders. 2000s. Chad Greenway. They've had some good linebackers. Dallas Clark. Noah Fant on the Seattle Seahawks right now. So he and Hawkinson were both first-round picks the same year. That's pretty good. Iowa and Notre Dame are kind of known as tight end U for good reasons. Penn State, too. They're up there, too. But, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'm actually glad it's a noon game. I was hoping for noon. I knew it wasn't going to be a night one because even though Michigan and Rutgers is a night game, the Big Ten doesn't like to do night November games. So it's either noon or 3:30. But I was happy to see it's noon. It's sold out. It's been sold out for a couple weeks, so it should be a good environment in Ross-Ade, and really looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Get a win and get bowl eligible. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I mean, Destiny's still in front of us. The West is still in front of us. You go 4-0, you win the West. There's even a scenario Purdue could lose one game outside of Illinois as long as Illinois loses to Michigan also, and Purdue could still win the West. So there's a path to still winning at 8-4, but 9-3 sounds a lot better.
Yeah, that's kind of my, and it really shouldn't be a worry, but you never know with, I mean, they're college kids. Like, I hope they're not looking ahead to next week's game against Illinois.
Who would have thought we were going to say that back in August?
Especially for football. It's the one thing to talk about, just talk about, potential game day scenario happening in Champaign, Illinois. It's like, I was talking to my bosses, the Illinois fan. It's like, man, you never would have thought that they'd be talking Purdue, Illinois game day for football. It's like, you can see it in basketball when they do those games because of, great basketball schools, but yeah, for football, it's usually been. It's just it's weird.
Well, it's the lure of that's one of the Power 5 schools game day's never been to is Illinois, which is hard to believe. And Illinois got one loss in the year. It was to Indiana in a game they should have won. They kind of got hosed by the refs. But I remember watching that game. And I'm like, this is the same old Illinois team. Same old. Well, they still haven't played the greatest schedule, but you got to play who's on there. And I am kind of laughing. I was kind of laughing last night on Twitter. A bunch of Illinois fans were responding to that tweet about game day potentially having interest in Illinois and Purdue, and they're like, "Yeah, that's it. That's if Purdue doesn't screw it up this week." And I'm like, "You guys got to play too." I mean, I know you're 17-point favorites against a Michigan State team that looks like hot garbage right now, but still, like, I would laugh if you guys are the ones that lets the ball drop. So, I don't know.
They're a cocky bunch for whatever reason. Like, especially, I mean, I don't know what it is, but.
I mean, that's one series Purdue's done really well is the Cannon series.
It's always usually it's like when looking. I mean, back when we played three trophies a year, it was like we felt pretty good about getting 2 out of the 3 with the Cannon in the bucket, and then the Shillelagh was always the if you can get it. Yeah. It's if you get it, it's found money at that point.
Right. And my dad's always told me my whole life, either for football or basketball, the key to a good season is beat the 3 I's. Illinois, Iowa, Indiana. It's true. It's true, especially for football when you only play them once. So, yeah, if you can win those 3, you're usually having a pretty good season. So, it'll be a fun one. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'll get my score prediction here in a little bit. But let's go around the conference. We got a full slate of games this weekend, 7 Big Ten games, which is nice. Starting with Ohio State at Northwestern. Ohio State's a 38-point favorite.
Gosh, I was talking. I mean, our good buddy Cameron Screeton, who's been on the podcast with us before, he sent us group chats like, Ohio State didn't look good against Michigan State, against Penn State. Penn State, yeah, and they still won by multiple touchdowns at the end. Like, they're on another level. I think they cover, honestly.
I do too. Usually this is a game I would be nervous if I was a Ohio State fan because Northwestern plays them tough, especially in Evanston. Not this year. This is just way different talent levels this year.
And now that these college football playoff rankings are coming out, I mean, I feel it's pretty. Really 1 through 5. I mean, no one you can't slip up. I mean, obviously someone will slip up between Tennessee and Georgia, which we'll cover here in a minute, but. Yeah, you got Ohio State, Michigan, so obviously that game's going to be huge at the end of the season. I can't imagine them taking 2 Big Ten teams unless there's just absolute chaos in the SEC for whatever reason, but I don't know.
Yeah, before the season, I had both Ohio State and Michigan in my playoff, but I don't foresee it. I don't think happening now. I do think Ohio State's the best team in the country, though. I know they're number 2.
Really?
Tennessee's number 1, and Tennessee deserves number 1, winning at Alabama. I think Ohio State would beat Tennessee head-to-head. I'm pretty comfortable saying that. I know Hayden Hooker's good, but Ohio State's got so much talent. And, besides Penn State, the only other game they struggled in was week 1 against Notre Dame. They still won by double digits. They haven't been in a close game all season. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is just he's a problem.
He's still got another year. We have to play him next year. That's the thing.
So good.
That'd be kind of cool to see him come to Ross State next year. But
totally different player than his dad was, but man, he's good.
Carson killed him, but either.
Yeah, that's good point. Good point. I'm glad you said it, not me.
No.
Interesting one here at Madison at Camp Randall. 6-2 Maryland at 4-4 Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a 4.5-point favorite.
Is Tagovailoa playing? Is the big question.
I don't know.
I don't think he's been. Because I've got a coworker who's a Wisconsin fan. He said there's nothing been written about Tagovailoa lately since he's got hurt against Indiana. So I'm gonna go with Wisconsin.
I think so too. I think Wisconsin's got a little mojo back. I mean, they're probably out of the race for the West. Not technically yet, but they probably are. But I think they get it done at home. Minnesota got a much-needed win over Rutgers, blanked them last week, 5-3 at 3-5 Nebraska. But I still cannot believe this line. Minnesota 16-point favorite. I think Minnesota will win, but I don't think they cover a 16-point spread. I don't understand.
I don't think so either. I think it's a one-score game.
There's some lines around college football this weekend that have me just scratching my head right now. I'm like, what in the world is going on? But Nebraska's sneaky. It's at
home. I mean, Nebraska, they have obviously a good crowd.
Read something on Twitter today that Arizona State might be interested in Nebraska's interim head coach. So
really,
we'll see. Number 16, Penn State, 14-point favorite at Indiana, whose bowl hopes are fading fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ABC game, by the way. ABC. I hate how they get these ABC games and these big Fox.
Well, it's because they play.
Because they're in the East.
They're playing Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State.
I know.
It's not them.
Oh God, it's not them.
I think Penn State bounces back after. I think they're pretty pissed off after dropping that Ohio State game out on the Hoosiers. And Indiana just lost their number one wide receiver, so they're going to be.
That doesn't help.
No.
Well, and I'm sure the juniors and seniors are still ticked off about the 2020 game in Indiana.
Yeah.
So, even though that was a sham of a year, I think Penn State wins and covers.
Penn State has no one to blame but themselves that game.
You're right.
They scored super early.
Yeah, if the guy slides at the one, they win the game, and they went in the end zone, and then just stupid things happened. But that was just an awful year to even be around Indiana fans.
Thank God we weren't out and about.
No kidding.
Around the good games.
3-5 Michigan State that has a bunch of problems. 4 guys getting suspended. Why do you? What I mean, Michigan kid probably. He was asking for it, don't get me wrong, but to think there's not cameras in that hallway or the locker, you're just an idiot. I don't.
It's probably to blame for the poor facilities of Michigan. You only have one tunnel.
Yep.
It's just you can't have it in today's game. You can't have it.
They probably won't let us take the world's largest drum next year up there.
No, that was awful to see. I mean, obviously, I think the Michigan guy was obviously didn't help himself, but still, it's like I mean,
there's no room for that.
I'm not surprised it was Michigan State either. Like, if you would told me Big Ten team beat another team, like I'd probably Michigan State.
I know. They get that reputation. Honestly, it's too easy. They are 16-point dogs at number 14, 7-1 Illinois.
If Illinois wins this game and covers that spread,
yeah.
I mean, we know one Illinois. I mean, I know a couple Illinois fans, but like they're going to be on another level.
What Illinois does is they force turnovers, and they don't turn over very much. And Chase Brown's a top 5 running back in the country, so they got a good formula.
Yeah, I think Illinois wins, but they don't cover. I think this is a close game. I hope it's a close game.
Greg McManus on YouTube saying 4 more got suspended by MSU today. Ooh.
So what? That's 8 total. Is that 8 total? Because it was
question.
4 originally. It was 4 originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, I knew of 4 originally. So, oh boy, maybe Illinois does cover that spread.
Maybe they do.
I think they win no matter what. Michigan State's a train wreck, $95 million train wreck. Them and Texas A&M. Yeah. If Illinois wins this weekend, and Greg says yes, so that's 8 total. If Illinois wins against Michigan State and wins against Purdue, they lock up the West. So, Yep, they better lock Bielema down.
No kidding. He's a Big Ten guy.
I know. I would only be Wisconsin's not going to bring him back. I don't think Nebraska's a fit. If Iowa opened up, that could be interesting since he played there, but they're not going to open
I
up.
forgot he played there. Yeah, they're not going to fire France.
The night game, number 4, Michigan, 26-point favorite at 4-4 Rutgers.
I haven't really watched Michigan. I tried to watch a little bit of their game against Michigan. Yeah, Michigan State that we were talking about. And by the time I turned it on, it was already over. But I mean,
they're pretty good.
They're pretty good. Yeah, I think they roll in this one.
I do too. Rutgers is not good. They're not a good football team. Around the top 25, we'll pick a couple matchups here. Interesting one Friday night out in Pac-12 country. Number 24, Oregon State, who's 6-2, travels to 6-2 Washington. Washington is a 3.5-point favorite.
I'm gonna go with the home team here. Go with the Dogs.
I am too.
Huskies,
I'm going with the Huskies. Yeah, the Dogs. Yeah. I'm going with the Huskies. That's gonna be a good one. Good for Oregon State. I did not realize until this week that they had hopped in the rankings. So
me neither.
It's interesting because we played in week 1 last year, and yeah,
basketball team went to the Elite Eight a couple years in the COVID.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Well, I think they had no chance of being tournament unless they won the Pac-12, and they did win the Pac-12, and then they go on a run in that Mickey Mouse tournament.
Wow, good memory. Texas Tech, who is 4-4, travels to number 7, 8-0 TCU, who is a 9.5-point favorite.
Are they the 6th team in the college football ranking?
Alabama. TCU's getting no love right now.
Are they 6th? Is 5th Alabama?
5th's Michigan.
Oh, okay.
4th is Clemson.
That's right. I was just looking at that. Okay. I think TCU. I think they're going to play the chip on their shoulder now.
Yeah.
They're going to have to just go scorched earth to get any sort of chance of making the playoff, unfortunately.
Who do you give Coach of the Year to right now? Sonny Dykes, Brett Bielema, or Josh Heupel?
Heupel right now.
Yeah, probably, just because he beat Bama. Even though, Bielema, Illinois has been just a train wreck of a program. And Sonny Dykes' first year at TCU, taking over for a TCU legend. Heupel did pretty well at Tennessee last year. But, yeah, you're right. It's probably Heupel. Speaking of Tennessee, the game of the weekend, number 1 against number 2. Well, technically by college football.
What is this line?
College football, it's number 1 against number 3. Tennessee at Georgia, and Georgia's an 8-point favorite.
That line is criminal, I think. I thought for sure it was going to be maybe 3 points. I don't know. I know Georgia's defense is really good, and I think Tennessee's defense struggled a little bit. I think they're as bad as some people say.
Maybe it's my hatred for Tennessee, but I think Georgia wins by double digits.
I hope so.
If it was at Neyland, I'd take Tennessee, but it's on the road.
I'm taking Tennessee by 3 touchdowns, probably. That place is an absolute madhouse. I don't know if it's just because I'm just preparing myself for the inevitable, but I think Tennessee wins this game.
Oh, boy. They do say that for a big, packed stadium, Georgia's quiet. I've always heard that out of
really?
The crazy stadiums. Georgia's really quiet for some reason. So something to keep an eye on there.
Well, Tennessee fans travel really well too, so
they do.
There'll be a lot of orange down in wherever University of Georgia's at. I can't remember. Athens. Yeah.
This is one I don't understand in Big 12 country here. So you got 5-3 Texas on the road at number 13, 6-2 Kansas State, who just beat Oklahoma State last week, 48-0. And Texas is favored by 2.5 points. I don't get it. It's just the college football wanting Texas to be back. I think Kansas State wins. That defense is. If a Big 12 team can have a nasty defense, they have a nasty defense.
Yeah, I think Kansas State takes care of business.
Texas is so easy to root against, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Good one, SEC country, number 6, 7-1 Alabama at number 15, 6-2 LSU. Bama's a 13-point favorite.
Now that they're on the outside looking into the college football playoff, they think they're going to have to just annihilate everybody in their path. Assuming Bryce Young can stay healthy, I think Bama wins. I think they cover that spread.
I think Bama wins, but I'm going to throw Brian Kelly a bone, and that feels disgusting saying. I think LSU keeps it within 10 points.
Okay. That place will be rocking.
It will.
It'll be a night game, Death Valley. Would be a really cool environment to go to.
That's supposedly the loudest stadium in the country when it gets going. So, according to the college football experts, who knows. Then we got Clemson, who is number 4 in tonight's college football playoff rankings, 8-0 at 5-3 Notre Dame. Clemson's a 3.5-point favorite. Does Marcus Freeman finally get his big signature win? They've had good wins. They've won at Syracuse and at North Carolina, who were both ranked at the time. But does he finally get that huge win to get the whole Notre Dame fan base on his side? Or does Dabo and DJ and Clemson take care of business?
I think Clemson takes care of business.
I do too. I think Notre Dame keeps it close, but I think Clemson wins. One more here. Let's do number 20, Wake Forest, 6-2, who got shellacked by Louisville. Go Louisville. At
is it gonna matter though? I mean, in real
probably not. Look at their schedule too; it's pretty hard coming up. So yeah, it's pretty hard. That loss to Boston College is probably gonna do him in. Wake Forest is at number 21, 6-2, NC State. But here again, Wake Forest is a 4.5-point favorite on the road. I do think NC State is playing a backup quarterback, but I'm still taking the home team.
I'm going to go Demon Deacons. I'm going to change it up.
All right, Brad Lambert. Lambert and his defense out there. But yeah, Louisville, here's Louisville's schedule. And I know this is something I don't even really want to talk about, but we're probably going to have. They do play James Madison this week, so they should get bowl eligible. They're 5-3. They should go 6-3. All right. But upcoming, then they go at Clemson, NC State at home, and at Kentucky.
Yikes.
They are on a 3-game win streak, but that loss on October 1st, 34-33 at Boston College is a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Their other losses are week 1 at Syracuse, 31-7, and week 3 versus Florida State at home, 35-31.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, at the beginning of the season, that Syracuse loss looked pretty bad. We're like, oh man, like they got whooped by a bad Syracuse team. Like he's definitely getting fired. It's like when Syracuse actually rattles off a bunch of wins. I mean,
then they lay an egg against Notre Dame, and now Notre Dame fans, we did something that you couldn't do. Well, if our tight end and coach don't have unsportsmanlike conduct penalties back to back, we probably win that game.
Or just take away any one of the dumb penalties that we had in the last drive.
Yeah, that's just that's one when we look back in years to come on the season. That's one that's still gonna be infuriating, more so than Penn State week 1.
Oh yeah.
But Boilers Hawkeyes Saturday. Boilers a 4-point favorite. Score prediction, MVP prediction, or player to game prediction, I should say, not MVP.
Boilers 21, Iowa 10.
Oh, okay. I would be all on board with Iowa only scoring 10 points.
I feel like I'll give them a touchdown. I'm going to change it. I'm actually going to change it now. I'm going to say 21-17.
Getting closer to mine. I'm going 28-17 Boilers.
Okay. Yeah. Play the game. Bounces back. Aiden O'Connell has a good game.
I like it.
It's a mistake-free game, I should say.
I like it.
Solid game. I think Iowa's defense is good. I think they definitely keep us in check, but I think a late score by Charlie Jones puts us over the top.
I like it.
Amazing.
Little Chuck Sizzle. And he would be the easy answer for player to game.
Yeah.
But I'm going with his former Iowa Hawkeye counterpart. I'm going with Tyron Tracy this game.
Okay.
I've been waiting for him to really bust out one of these games. He's had moments, but this is a good one to do it. Everybody's going to be suspecting Charlie Jones to be the guy, but maybe Tyron comes through. Because Purdue, I mean, we're 4 games left in the regular season, still haven't established a number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah.
don't think we're going to, really.
No.
But really, Payne Durham's our number 2.
Yeah. So by receptions, it's Payne, but by position, actual receiver position, I don't know.
Even though I kind of think it's TJ Sheffield, in my opinion.
I think you're right.
Yeah, but it's hard to make a slot guy number 2. But speaking of slot guys, I did see that Dorian Bryant and Matt Light are going to be the honorary captains on Saturday.
Really?
Yeah.
Dorian been up to lately?
Yeah, I don't know what he's been up to. Of course, Matt Light went to have a really good pro career with the Patriots. And he's involved with a few different foundations, I know, but I don't know what Dorian's been up to. So it'd be cool to see them on campus. I like how Purdue's bringing back old players as honorary captains this year.
Yeah.
Kyle Orton, Rob Ninkovich, Mark Herman, I believe, has been one. I know I'm forgetting a few others, but it's been neat. Been really neat. So, yeah. It will be a fun environment. And then actually tomorrow night, I believe, Purdue basketball has their exhibition game. Couldn't even tell you who they play.
Truman State.
There you go, Truman State.
They just lost to Iowa. I think they actually kept it close for a bit with Iowa, but then Iowa pulled away.
But it is hard to believe that next Tuesday is going to be the season opener against Milwaukee. It just doesn't feel like basketball season should be here yet, but it is. It does help when we have a good football season going. I mean, there's been too many times in the past where like counting down the days to basketball because
after week 2, it's like, okay,
football,
how many more weeks do we have?
Yeah.
To
So
basketball?
it's fun to have two programs who are relevant and competitive.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do no guarantees out there, but we're going to try to do a Purdue basketball season preview, full season preview / trivia show, maybe on Sunday if our schedules allow it. But if not, Evan and I are going to talk a little bit about the basketball team just so we cover our bases just in case. But we'd like to have Andrew and maybe a couple other special guests on to give their thoughts as well. But I really don't have a lot of expectations for this team this year, and that's what makes it intriguing, exciting, and fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Of course, the more and more I read, the more and more I'm like, all right, I think we can, I go from let's just make the tournament to I think we should be top 4 in the Big Ten. We might be able to compete for the Big Ten. It's just never ending. No, I mean, I'm love what I'm reading about the team. At least I feel like, especially the guys like Golden Black now on the On3 network.
Yes, go subscribe for $1 right now if you haven't done so.
Just hearing them, I feel like they do a pretty good job of not just blowing smoke up or what's about the teams. They do pretty good about being level headed and not getting too out of hand. But I'm loving what I'm reading about this team and just kind of just the tenacity they're going to have, and the young guys. We know we're going to have a lot of hiccup. We're probably going to beat a team that maybe we aren't expected to beat. Maybe like
Gonzaga.
I want to beat West Virginia so badly because I want a shot at Gonzaga. But then I can also see us losing to a team that we shouldn't lose to.
Watch us beat West Virginia and lose to Portland, who somehow knocked off Gonzaga.
But it's gonna be interesting to see, how guys like Braden Smith-Fletcher, who started in the scrimmage against Cincinnati. The secret scrimmage that we have video and statistics.
Yeah, I love how these secret scrimmages are just totally not secret anymore.
I mean, actually, probably not a secret scrimmage, but Gonzaga and Tennessee, they put it on pay-per-view essentially. It was for charity. It was for charity though, so that makes sense.
Okay.
And Tennessee, minus their best player, absolutely took them to the woodshed. And the leading scorer was a player who transferred from Indiana State, Key, who I think played us pretty well a couple years ago.
Yeah, he shot the ball well against us.
Yeah, he had I think he had 26 points in that game. But I mean, it's not like we handled the pressure really well. I mean, Cincinnati's physical, which is what obviously Painter wants out of a thing like that. Because obviously, I mean, just because of their youth, they're going to get picked on. I mean, Braden, it's going to be talked about all the time. I mean, he's not a big guard by any means. He's small, but it's not like he handled his own. I don't know how good Cincinnati's going to be. They actually lost their other scrimmage. They played against the not so great team. But I mean, I don't really put too much stock into those things. Obviously, if we win the scrimmage, I'm like, all right, we're winning everything this year. But if we last year when we lost, it was it doesn't matter. These things don't matter at all.
Exactly.
But I'm loving what I'm reading. I think it sounds like Edie's gotten. It just looks like he's gotten bigger too. Hopefully, he can be more of consistently physical. I think last year we saw some lapses where some games he was an absolute force to be reckoned with, and sometimes he, just because of the physicality of the game, maybe got to him a little bit. Which fully expecting, trying to tell myself that I don't get frustrated when I see 3 guys hanging on him and no foul called by the officials. But I think what I'm worried about is our 3-point shooting. I know we have a lot of good shooters, but similar to the 2019-2020 season, I don't feel like we're a proven shooting team. Because when we really, I mean, Newman to a point, but even then, he's obviously had his lapses. Gillis has shown to be a decent shooter, Morton, but those guys aren't high volume by any means. First knocking down Obviously, we know Fletcher Loyer is a great shooter, but again, freshman, you never know. But if we can knock the shots down, I think we could be pretty dangerous in the Big Ten.
Yeah, no, it's a season goal for of course, make the tournament, but I always like that, get that double bye in the Big 10, be top 4. I want to keep that streak going because that means we had a really good season. So, I'm kind of with you.
It's going to set you up as a pretty decent seed in the tournament. Like if you're, as we saw last year, sometimes I feel like playing on that Thursday and getting that top 4 seed on Friday when they haven't played a game seems to be like we saw with Indiana last year. They played number 1 seed Illinois, and it was a close game, but Indiana did kind of dictated that game a lot. But as we saw, they had to win that game just to even get a play-in game, and we don't want to be in that situation. So,
no,
yeah, that top 4 seed would be pretty nice.
Where is the Big Ten tournament this year? Is it Chicago?
I think it's Chicago.
I think you're right. I think it is Chicago. It threw me off when they had the media day in Minneapolis this year.
Yeah, can't wait to Big Ten tournament. LA, and then the first games are starting 3 p.m. and the last game of the day on Fridays is starting at 11:30.
Oh yeah, that's common. They'll move the Big Ten football championship game out there at least for a year. It's no doubt. It's coming. But,
Big Ten championship. It doesn't make. It will make sense, I guess. But at SoFi would be pretty cool.
So,
would having it that would be pretty sweet.
That would. So. Yeah, but basketball season, I'm right there with you. A lot of depth, a lot of newcomers. I'm anxious to see how they play out. Interesting non-con schedule, then a fun Big Ten schedule like always. But should be a fun season. Fun season. So it's got to have its ups and downs, bumps in the road, like you mentioned. But I think overall, when it's all said and done, come to March, I think we'll be pumped up to try to make a run at something again.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think this is what I was going to say. It's going to be pretty much more normal Painter team.
Yep.
That's a good thing or a bad thing. But it sounds like this team is a team that's going to want to share the ball a lot. What I am worried about, though, is I don't want this to be like the 2019-2020 team because that team was fun to watch and we had some good games. We weren't going to make the tournament.
No. Didn't defend home court well. Lost, 5 games at home that year?
Yeah. Lost to Texas.
Illinois, Michigan, Penn State,
Rutgers, because we lost senior day. What would have been senior day?
Yeah, I think that's 5 right there.
Yeah, because that was Boudreaux's senior day.
Because we whooped Michigan State and Iowa at home.
Yeah, beat Indiana twice that year because that was the Bob Knight game. But then they came. We went on the road against Northwestern, did stuff like that. But then. Yeah, we weren't going to make tournaments. We made a run in the Big Ten tournament, but I know that team didn't really have a good because we just lost Carson, so that was a big thing because we had no really go-to scorer, which I feel like. I guess we now have Edey, but he's a post guy. We don't really have that. We didn't have that dynamic guard like we had with Ivy last year, who is fitting in incredibly well in the
yeah. I think he's going to be a superstar. I think he's going to be Purdue's best NBA player they've ever had.
Yeah. But so interesting to see. I just hope. But I think what this team will have that team didn't. I think they're going to have some dogs, though. Between Gillis and Smith, I think it's going to be tough nosed and not back down. I think probably 2019, 2020 team had was it had a lot of good guys, but no guys that were going to bite back essentially.
Even last year.
Yeah.
Really, for the most part.
Yeah. So I think hopefully. With Gillis being an upperclassman now, I think he's going to really set the tone, hopefully. And guys like Braden Smith who just don't seem to back down from it. It just sounds like Fletcher Loyer's kind of the same mentality. So hopefully, kind of a really gritty team, which is always fun to watch.
So outside of Zach Edey, who's your prediction to be Purdue's leading scorer?
That's a tough question. That's funny you say least scorer. It's probably about with 8 points a game or something like that. But I'm going to say Gillis.
Okay.
And it's probably easy because he's a starter. I think he'll get a lot of free throws. I think he's going to have 1, maybe 2 threes a game. I really want to say Drake Hoffman-Renn.
I know that's who
so
I want to say
badly.
because I want to buy in the hype that I'm reading. And
Yeah, I don't want to give him my Aaron Wheeler curse of favorite player not doing well, but
hey,
yeah,
he was number 3 pick in the G League draft.
he
so.
was. Yes, I'm happy to see him have some success. Yeah, I want to say Fletcher Lord, but we have no idea what.
Right.
I mean, it's too hard to say right now. I want to say Brandon Newman, but I mean, he may not even be starting. Not that that means anything. But I think I'm gonna go with Gillis for right now. If we have a podcast on Sunday, I might, based off what we hear about tomorrow's game.
Yeah. It's that's the thing. Purdue's deep. They're deep in certain positions too. Maybe not so deep at point guard, but hopefully that's okay. That's okay. But yep, it's gonna be fun. Not only is Rossi gonna be rocking on Saturday, Mackey's gonna be rocking come Tuesday. Well, tomorrow night, but come Tuesday. Yeah. So it's a good time to be a Boilermaker like always. So
absolutely.
And like I said, hopefully we can record something later this week on Sunday and kind of go more in depth with basketball and have some fun with some basketball trivia like we did before the football season with our football trivia show. So which you can go check out on our YouTube channel if you haven't seen already and try to see how you do against us. So, any other thoughts before we do some sponsor reads and wrap this thing up?
Yeah, it's always a fun time of year. It's always fun when basketball started because you have a lot of, typically a lot of good non-conference games, even outside the Big Ten and outside the Big Ten. I love the Maui Invitational. It's always a fun one to watch. Champions Classic is always one of the first games of the year with kind of the bluest of blue bloods that we have in the game. Football, it's usually, it's a lot. It's hard to do these podcasts and keep them under, a reasonable time because we usually have so much to talk about. But it's a fun time of year.
Yep. I couldn't say it better myself. And it's going to be a late night on Thanksgiving this year. That West Virginia game we play at 10 o'clock on Thanksgiving night. So
yeah.
That'll be interesting.
I have to wake up from my food coma.
No kidding. Good day for a nap.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a meal before the game Saturday or during the game, if you can't make the Ross-Ade, maybe you want some pizza or some cheese sticks to take to your tailgate, Mad Mushroom's got you covered. Mad Mushroom is one of the 2 sponsors of the Boiler Breakdown again this season. And when you use promo code BREAK5 online, you get $5 off any order over $20. Or if you're going in person, just tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you. You can get $5 off any order over $20 that way as well. And make sure to try out their new pizza of the month. Today is November 1st, so you know what that means. New pizza. New pizza this month is Todd's Honey Sriracha Chicken. It's their house-made honey sriracha sauce with chicken, pineapples, mozzarella cheese, and finished with a chive garnish, starting at just $14. So get 2 of those bad boys. That puts your total at over $20. Use discount code BREAK5, or like I said, in person, just tell them Boiler Breakdown sent you. You get $5 off. Or if you just want one pizza, make sure you get a cheese stick. Even if you want 2 pizzas, you got to get a cheese stick.
No,
you can't go to the home of the original cheese sticks and not get a cheese stick. So,
speaking of cheese sticks, I was in Toledo, Ohio last week, Thursday, Friday. And on Thursday, I got lunch with a coworker at a place, I think it was downtown Toledo. I didn't really know where I was. We went to a pizza place called Home Slice. Nice little joint. It was pretty dead. It was middle of the afternoon. But my coworker and I, we got their cheese bread. Phenomenal. Fantastic cheese bread. Still couldn't hold a candle to the Mad Mushroom cheese sticks. Like, it made me, I was these are so good. But man, it makes me really want Mad Mushroom cheese sticks.
And I'm sure you did this. This is probably a dumb question, but did you ever just order a large cheese stick in college for dinner?
All the time.
Yeah. The hardest thing was, what sauce do I want tonight with it? Do I want garlic? Do I want marinara? Do I want ranch? Do I want all?
I was between marinara and just cheese sauce.
Yeah, cheese sauce. It's hard to go wrong with cheese sauce. So, yes.
I'm pretty sure for a Super Bowl one year, I ordered just cheese sticks as my
Can't go wrong with the cheese sticks. They are the home of the original cheese sticks for a reason. So like we said, if you're tailgating, if you're just watching the game at home, if you're going to celebrate hopefully a big Boiler victory over the Hawkeyes, go to Mad Mush, tell them Boiler Breakdown sent you, or use discount code BREAK5 online for $5 off any order over $20. That's Mad Mushroom. Feed your head.
Find a Hawkeye fan after we beat them, talk your crap, but then take them to Mad Mush and buy some cheese sticks and make them feel better.
Yeah, be the bigger person.
Yeah.
Well, Webby, we are both representing the shop tonight with some T-shirts. I stopped in one of their 2 locations last week and finally bought myself a new shirt, which I'm going to take the overlay down so I can kind of show it off here. I got the world's largest drum
Solid
shirt.
Solid shirt.
Put the overlay back up here so you can do the
It's
rest
comfy,
of your
isn't it?
read. What? Oh, it's very
Isn't
comfy.
it?
It's lightweight, but nice material. Yeah.
Good form
Move
fitting.
around. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, Bullet Breakdown is brought to you by The Shop. The Shop has been bringing shirts and hometown apparel to fans since 2011. From their humble beginnings in garages and basements, you can find them at their 2 retail stores and online. They make comfortable shirts. It makes everybody happy. Shop is located in Carmel and Indianapolis, as well as online at theshopindy.com. They make the best shirts, period, hands down. Next time you're shopping online, use promo code BREAKDOWN for 25% off your order. I think it was a new sweatshirt release. They have a new hoodie, a Purdue hoodie. It's the speaking of the drum, Tanner. If you're watching online, with the script on the drum that Tanner's got, they have that on a hoodie, black hoodie, gold script. Looks phenomenal. $50, but obviously 25% off. Gets you a nice little discount there. It's hoodie season now. Didn't feel like it today. It was at least in Indiana. It was pretty nice today.
Yeah,
it's supposed
to be nice this week, but that's what I love about fall is hoodie weather, and we're in November now. It's not too early to start your Christmas shopping.
Absolutely.
So take advantage. Break down for 25% off theshopindy.com. Or you can stop in either of their retail stores as well.
Yeah, one in Broad Ripple and one in Carmel.
Carmel's the one I stopped in at. So, Yep. Nice little shop. So, all right.
And they also just came out with some new Pacer gear, too, if you're a Pacer fan.
Yeah,
new Pacer shirt.
I do not follow the NBA near as close as I used to. My Pacer fandom's gone way downhill. But when I saw that 31 shirt, I was like, I got to get a shirt of my favorite NBA player of all time, Reggie Miller. I just got to. So the Flo Joe design on it, chef's kiss. So, all right, Webby, any final closing thoughts?
No, so glad to be back doing a pod. Hopefully we can get Andrew on so we can have our 3-man crew again.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been non-con. It was non-con for us. Yeah.
But this is a great, I've already said it's a great time of year. Basketball starting is, as much as I'm trying to hinder my expectations, because last year it took a lot out of me, as I probably did a lot of Purdue fans, just the high expectations and maybe it's also just knowing the team down south can probably be pretty good this year too. It's just, I just don't want to deal with that. So I'm kind of I'm waiting. I'm okay if basketball season doesn't come right away.
Right.
But I'm excited. The more I read about it, I've seen a lot more articles pop up, and the New Jerseys are absolutely sick. I think they've grown on me so much. I liked them at first, but seeing them more and more, I absolutely love them. Can't wait to see them on TV and in person. So I'm excited.
Yep. Good. Yeah, I wasn't huge on the New Jerseys, but the more I've seen them, they're definitely growing on me pretty fast. So hope we get a gold variation, though. I don't know. But I hope something or another throwback or give us one more design. I'll be pretty happy. So
give me a Brian Cardinal era throwback.
Bingo. There we go. Now we're talking. So, all right, Webby, I think that's going to do it for this week's podcast. Let's boiler up, hammer down, and beat the Hawkeyes.
Boiler up.